I just want to talk a little bit about a card that if you've been following me for a while, you've known that I've been pretty excited for up until the release of Rosetta. Now that Rosetta has dropped, I've been able to play with it a lot more, test it out a little bit, and I have some thoughts. So let's get right into the video. I want to start off with a little bit of disclaimers. So disclaimer one, I'll be primarily speaking about this from the perspective of CC Betsy. I've tested a decent amount of games with this card in CC Betsy, and I've gotten it in a variety of hands to know like exactly why I dislike it, why I like it, etc. I think the issues will still translate to other heroes in CC2, and I'm not really sure who will actually use it, if it will be used at all. And I want to say, I think it's actually a pretty good card in Blitz, just because you effectively double 10 foot's threatening damage. 10 damage in CC is a quarter of your life. Most people can afford to take that, and all that good jazz. But in Blitz, it's half your life, and I think that's a lot harder to kind of handle and worry about. So who knows? Let's talk a little bit about the card itself. Let's just give a brief summary of exactly what it does on paper. So it attacks for 10 and it blocks for 10. It costs 3 resources, aka 1 blue. And after attacking or defending, you have -2 intellect, aka IP2. So if I ever say like IP or IP2, intellect penalty, etc., this is what I mean. The -2 intellect on the card. It also pitches for a red, aka exactly 1 resource. And it's a generic, so any hero can run it. Now, why might you want this card? Why might you, the player, the gamer, might want to run this card in your deck? So ideally, it's used as kind of a late game win condition. So it either blocks out an entire attack, because blocking for 10 off of 1 card, 2.5 sync blows on 1, is pretty good. So maybe you can block out an entire attack and you swing with the other 3 to 4 cards. Or you block with maybe 2 to 3 cards and you swing this for 10 with like a pummel behind it. Seems pretty good on paper. Ideally, you want to end the game before the -2 intellect even matters. So you either block out and attack before you draw, and kill them before you even draw your cards, or you swing with it and that is the 10 foot that kills them. It also might be good in decks with large fridges and good defense that can maybe cover up the damage that will inevitably happen and threaten you after the IP hits. And I want to reiterate that on paper, this card looks so good. It helps you get over big attacks, big defense. The rate of the card itself looks amazing, right? But it has some problems. We'll get to that in a second. But first off, I want to give you guys a little bit of a subscriber check. We do these subscriber checks on these videos. These are my statistics from the last 28 days, and 92% of you are not subscribed. That's a big number. I would love to bring that down. I don't think I have to, though. I appreciate every single one of you who watches the videos, whether you're subscribed or not. Thank you. I didn't think I'd be getting this many views. I'm gonna be honest. I just wanted to put out videos, and it's been pretty great to see. That being said, if you do like the content, if you like the content that I'm putting out right now, if you like the content that I've been putting out in the past, I encourage you to hit subscribe. I would encourage you to hit the bell. So, maybe click on it so you'll see when I upload a video next. If you think you're subscribed already, maybe double check. Sometimes YouTube does drop your subscribers for no reason. It kind of sucks, but who knows? Maybe double check. But regardless, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here and commenting and liking the video, all that jazz. I really appreciate it. It's super awesome to see. Let's get on with the shitty card. So the big problem with this card, 10 foot tall and bulletproof, is what do you do if you get the card early? You have 3 options. You can either pitch it as a red, which essentially loses tempo, especially if you're playing a Guardian that has big costs on everything. You can attack with it, which is losing tempo because when you draw, you will get a IP2. Or you can block with it, losing tempo because then you have 1 turn to do whatever you want, and then you're going to draw and get an IP2. Do you notice something here? Do you notice how all three options make you lose tempo regardless of what the fuck you're doing? It's really annoying. This card is also incredibly inflexible, as there is no easy way to get out of your hand. Every time you draw it, your game plan, no matter what it is, no matter what their board state is, no matter what your board state is, it shifts into how do I handle this card in my hand or risk losing even more tempo? Because the fourth option you can do here is to keep it in your hand. And then now you're going to ask the same question next turn, which is even, an even bigger tempo loss, because not only are you not playing your entire hand, but now you have to ask the same question later. It's like, okay, how do I use this? Right? Also, if you draw two or more in the same hand, you might as well concede. Having done this before, it is the worst feeling in the entire world to have two 10-foots in the same hand, and I was only running two of. Yeah, it's so awful. You either, IP4 or IP2 over 2 turns, or, spend 2 reds to pitch and do nothing. It's awful. Let's talk about pitching the card a little bit. So pitching the card sucks, especially if you're a Guardian. Guardians have really high costs on everything. That's why we like to run a lot of blues. So you play your reds, pitch your blues. That's how it always is, right? Play your reds, pitch your blues. This is a red that you want to pitch every time, pretty much, which is awful. The only real things you're going to pitch a red to is Rampart of the Ram's Head or Tectonic Plating. If they have any damage pressure lined up, you're just going to have to either give up like your whole hand and pitch for one Seismic Surge, which is like the worst feeling in the world, or you give up half your hand and then maybe swing with an Othos because you pitch like the 10-foot for the Surge, 3 for the Hammer. I don't know. It's just awful. It's not a good card. It's super awkward, specifically due to it being the red. But unfortunately, we're talking about this as like, oh, why don't you just play it or block with it? If you play it or block with it, you're going to risk the IP2. What you're noticing, if you notice a pattern here, no matter what, your hand is fucked. So here on the bottom, it says, essentially, when you get this card, it says, do I work to pitch this card and fuck up my hand at the moment? Or do I attack/block with it and fuck up my hand next turn? There is not a single situation or a place in this world where you will get this card and you go, my hand is not fucked up, unless you kill them, which is, again, like a late game option. But we're talking about like early game, mid game stuff. Now, maybe Brute. I know I said I mainly talk about this from CC Betsy, and I know I didn't really get to test this with other heroes, but my money is, if any hero is going to be able to use this card in some capacity, it's going to be the Brutes. Because the Brutes have unlocked a hidden payoff of discarding the card. It still kind of sucks because now you have to get extremely lucky and say, hey, I want to discard this card in particular. Like, imagine you like Blood Rush Bellows, and then, or maybe not Blood Rush Bellows, or I don't know, do something and you go, okay, I want to discard this exact card, and you don't discard it, and now you're stuck with a, damn 10-foot tall in your hand, still unable to answer the question, what do I do with it? Right? I don't know. But at least there's no penalty in discarding. There's no IP2 or anything when you discard it. Reiner probably works the best with it. Again, this is just kind of my speculation. It has, good synergy with his hero ability, and he's arguably the slowest of the 3 Brutes, so you can actually use the late game payoff way more than you can with KO and Leviah. KO and Leviah kind of just have like giant ghost switches, so they don't really need a card that bricks up a lot of hands and maybe shoves out a little more damage. To be fair, to be honest, I don't think Reiner needs it too, but who knows. Again, it still kind of sucks, but maybe someone's gonna cook with it. Maybe we'll see somebody come out and be like, hey, I use this card to great effect. As far as I know, this card is not going to be used for great effect. I don't think this card is, good at all, but who knows. In conclusion, the card sucks. It bricks up every single hand it's in. It's an inflexible card because your game plan, like I said, once you draw it, it immediately shifts like, how do I get this out of my hand? What's the fastest way? What is the easiest way? What is the best way to get it out of my hand? The ideal world, in an ideal scenario, I would run exactly one of these, and I would find a way to put it at the bottom of my deck every time. So it's at the very bottom of the first cycle. However, that is a pipe dream. Not every single game will have that. And the downsides, the downfalls, I guess, of this card, pulling this card early within the top half of your first cycle, greatly outweighs any of the benefit of having one at the very bottom on those rare games that you get it. And most importantly, there's just other options that I would rather have, like an E-Strike. Yeah, an E-Strike for 7 isn't the best, but I think it's way more flexible. You can use it in all red hands. You can use it to draw a card. You can use it to give it go again. That one card is way more flexible and way stronger than anything 10 foot tall has to offer. So I would much rather have an E-Strike for 7. Maybe you guys wouldn't, but who knows. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more me. Subscribe for more Shuusai. Once again, I just want to be very, very transparent and grateful to every single one of you who has watched my videos, who has commented, who has subscribed, liked, etc. I really appreciate it. I think it's been super cool to see, and like I said, I didn't think I'd get this far. So I want to keep making content for y'all. I'm gonna try to keep pushing out more stuff. Whether it's related to Betsy, whether it's related to Dash.io, or any other hero I'm playing. I want to get you guys some more content, so some more slop to have. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.